Hello and welcome to the UKIC Masters. We have got an upper bracket game coming your way with Privateer versus The Last Resort. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Upper bracket. I mean, it's a rerun of what we've seen before, right? I'm going to quickly throw us over to the veto as the players are imminent. I had a bit of a couple of tech issues setting up earlier on, so apologies for that. But we are going to be seeing Nuke, Dust 2, and Inferno in this one. Privateer picking Nuke, Dust 2 on the side of TLR, and Inferno as a decider.
Yeah, it's a strange sort of mix around. Looking at these two teams, you would have thought they'd be picked the other way. Nuke has been a hallmark for the core of TLR. You think back to when Artist, Giraffe, and Extinct broke out on towards the scene. It was Nuke, Vertigo. Those are the two maps which they sort of made their own, and where an international Counter-Strike actually paved the way for UKCS. But now suddenly they're having it picked against them. And Dust 2, a map which famously was their permaban, they hated it so much that when Dust 2 came back into the map pool initially, they just had two permabans. They just didn't play Dust 2 or Mirage, but they've slowly built confidence and comfortability on this map to the point where they're actually picking it into their opponents, which is really strange to think, especially when they're the clear favorites, I think, in this scenario, right? You'd think that they'd be picking the more strat heavy, more technical map, but instead they're going for Dust 2, which is often the pick of an underdog.
Yeah, we can have a quick look while we're here at the bracket, which is on the fantastic new UKIC website here. So you can see TLR straight through the top here, taking down Snarky and Glitchtech, both 2-0 for this upper bracket game. But then likewise for Privateer as well, right? We've got a 2-0 against Forge, a 2-0 against Ryvex, which brings them to this game here. And then, of course, both of those fallen teams playing each other at the moment in the losers bracket final.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Ryvex already beating Coalesce. Coalesce are one of the other sort of named teams in UKCS who you'd have an eye on to make deep runs in these UKIC playoffs. Taken down by Ryvex, who, for those who aren't aware, that's the swaggy whiffing core of teams which Privateer have already swept aside. They're a team who actually, if I remember rightly, a season or two ago, almost took down a Privateer Gaming in a qualification match for the LAN final. So being able to sweep them aside, I think that one was 13-10, 13-10 on both maps. But it does mean that, yeah, Privateer coming in here towards this grand final, going to see if they can try and topple the Titans of TLR.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one to watch. And why don't we just get straight into it here? TLR versus Privateer on your screens. TLR starting on the CT side here on Nuke. Privateer on that T side. We've got a flashbang on Extinct as well as some Julies dropped across. It looks like we've had somebody drop from the server already. Was that Artist that's just gone? Can't switch to him. He had a CZ. Crazy work. Either way, it's going to be a fast top site hit by the looks of things from the Privateer Gaming squad. Straight out into the jaws of Extinct. Trades are good, though. It's going to be vacancy from up above. Do work with the USP to bring it into a 2 versus 2 hit. Artist lurking in the vents. And he comes up and mows them both down to clean out the round.
Big work from the CZ. How on earth do you get that? CZ is such a fickle weapon. It's got its moments where it shines, but it's just got so many weaknesses. How quickly you run out of ammo, how long the reload is, how inaccurate that spray is. But if you do get that spray on, you can just mow down your opponents very quickly. Yeah, big round to win there for Artist, getting TLR off to a good start. But also on the CT side of Nuke, their opponent's map pick, but we know this is going to be a comfortable map for them, even if it is their opponent's pick. Privateer going to be going for the eco. We've got Fraser, Prime On a couple of deagles. Seeing what they can find. Not very much here. Bev farming with the MP9. One of the only 2 SMGs bought up by the TLR side. It's going to be extinct from top of garage. Famous at range. Here come the rifles for privateer. We've got the AKs. One single Galil over on prime to afford the util. If he hadn't bought that deagle, he could have had an AK in his hands here, but the Galil not to be sniffed at.
Heavy outside control for the CT side. Extinct taking point outside behind the box. I've got Bev in position as well to cover Silo. An Artist as well on top of garage. Actually completely vacated the top site here. They've got 2 players on ramp as well.
Just bold for a first gun round, but I don't hate it. Fraser's calling style is very slow. He loves to work the map control, play a very slow default, doesn't search for picks as a team, but it's just the map control to eventually give themselves an opening for a finish. And you can't really work map control towards A. On Nuke, it's going to be either working towards ramp, working towards outside. So TLR, first gun round, set all their players on those extremities, ready for those fights. But Privateer, great job at punishing the rotation in towards this A site. Nice and patient, guns out, ready for the swing. Just calm and composed. They'll take that A site. Does mean TLR sat now in a 4v4 retake. They successfully got the opening pick, but they weren't able to hold on to that advantage. Which would have made this retake a lot more viable.
Bev getting ready to spring up through the vent here. Going to drop a lurk smoke. Means he can't be immediately taken down as he rises up through the vent. Prime eliminates Giraffe as TLR try and explode out of the rafters, but unsuccessful on all fronts. And Artist and Bev forced to now save.
Yeah, that initial gamble playing heavy towards the extremities hasn't paid off there for TLR. Relatively clean round as well for Privateer, so Funds looking unfazed. Will be another heavy outside setup, similar to the previous, but instead it's Artist taking point with the AWP, searching. He's not going to find anything here. Normally, you find at least 1 T. You can pass that across to his teammates. Say, look, they're going to be 90% inside. You can see they've got a 2-man hold in towards the ramp. Successful for 2. Only at the cost of 1. They've got that advantage. That's what matters. Buys time for the rotation to come down towards this lower site.
Yeah, going to be sending it in around the flames. Arianto eliminating Giraffe. Privateer going to hit a bit of a freeze here. Bev down the vent. All 3 of the CTs on the lower side.
So all 3 of the Ts. Just slowly shuffling into this B bomb site. Utility deployed, bomb planted. Bev blows open. The smoke is good for 1, but there's the trade from Fraser. Arianto catches Extinct, trying to get involved in the action. It leaves Artist, who's getting a little bit curious towards outside, towards Secret, far removed from the action.
Great kill onto Fraser. Arianto going to spin round, though. Wants to take the fight instead of flying up the ramp. And that's where Artist will strike. A beautiful reaction out of the in-game leader. 7-0 so far. Privateer thought they had the answer. Fly straight up the vent with the bomb. Jobs are good, and Artist in a perfect position to cut them off. So he's going to secure the round for TLR.
Yeah, it's such an awkward spot on that lower site to be able to get the bomb down when you don't have control of the tunnels. Gets denied by Bev in a really desperate but heroic attempt. Privateer think they have the answer, just completely reset. Get yourself up on towards 8. They fail. They calculate getting caught in transition. And despite a relatively clean round win over there for Privateer, their funds are looking worse for wears. They'll be forcing up. We've got a Tech 9 in play, a couple of rifles. Smattering of utility. The funds on the CT side not much better. They only had one player surviving on the last utility. Very worse for wears. Bev, big opening kill on towards Dobbo. That was a Tech 9, which was hoping for the entry, which got cut down. So I didn't expect Minimal to be so far wide up against this wall, but the heavy presence from the CTs completely cleans up with not a single fatality.
I don't know how Bev's still alive there. He's done absolute miracle work. Just running around in and out of main. Completely flashed off and surviving with all 5 alive. Great result for TLR. Privateer will be down on the eco now.
Orb taking the range jewels up against the pistols. Privateer just going to be looking to see what heads they can click with these deagles. Heavy utility chips Dobbo down.
Prime going for a cheeky pre-fire. Artist the one to claim first blood here in round 6, though. Dobbo falling outside. Arianto down to extinct as well. There's Artist with another.
Just an uninspired eco here for Privateer. Feels like they've not really had much of an opportunity to even fire any of these upgraded pistols. Start searching towards ramp. Giraffe will mow them both down. A wide swing. Headshots with a clean spray. This scoreline is starting to creep away from Privateer here. This is their map pick. Admittedly, yes, it's one of the more CT-sided maps in the pool. But you're already 5-1 down. You need to get yourself some momentum if you want to give yourself a good scoreline at the half. Try and prevent the CT economy from getting out of control. Time it is going to be heavy towards outside. Plenty of smokes. Most of it is a ruse. We've got 3 players in towards the lobby for the CTs. They're going to be creeping up on towards ramp, hoping that they bought out a rotation. If not from Giraffe, from his next supportive rotate. But Giraffe repositioning, gets all the information unscathed as well. Can pass that info across. Privateer, they start to move. Accelerating down towards this lower site, and it's a desperate spray from Bev, but no kill. Sets up Giraffe. Attempt on the multi-kill. It's only the one. Keeps it even keel at a 3 versus 3.
Prime going to punch the digits. Bomb going down. Minimal in glass. Manages one before being traded out. Fraser on the long lurk in through secret. Vacancy and Artist to try and cover this one out from the ramp. Util down on the window. Priming. Nice position here in dark. Should get the first. There it is. Secured. Leaving Artist 1v2. Smoke down to cover the bomb. Can't find the other player. Privateer just burning the clock down. Fraser swings out. Finds the head. And with it, the round. So Privateer find their second.
A lovely big pounce there from Privateer. Well orchestrated with all that utility towards outside. TLR weren't in a position to search for that information behind those smokes, so they had to drop. They had to react off of them. Left ramp vulnerable. A simple split on towards that site. Proved successful. That is only their second round on the board. Again, the money is a little bit of a mismatch for Privateer. Fraser's managed to save the AWP from the previous round. We've got a sniper rifle on the T side. However, Dobbo is only on a Mac 10.
Yeah, not ideal in the weaponry department. Prime up close in the hut here. Looks like it might be a bit of a top pop. Oh, it's up above in heaven. Just waiting for the util. And the go signal. And here it comes. Prime going to be taking point. Hard clear onto Vacancy. Actually ends up not taking the kill. Word. And somehow Vacancy gets a double. Artist from up above with the AWP. Completely shutting the round down. I thought that would be a freebie for Prime, but he disengages. With it, the round all falls around him. There's Dobbo down as well. Artist getting aggressive with the AWPs. 12-1 right now for the CTs. It's averaging 2 kills per round one.
That round all hinged on Vacancy up there in the rafters. They even had a molly to flush him out. The flashes came into play, but they weren't able to finish him off by a bit before he gained vision and was somehow able to get a double kill. No trade coming through from the T's. If they were able to finish him off quickly and cleanly, and maybe they could have snowballed. They could have focused on the players rotating in out of position. That's not the case. TLR stay strong. They answer back very quickly. Artist is not stopping anytime soon with this AWP. Bev. Rotation. Down towards lower. Got the first ready to mow down. 3. Looking for a 4th. It's just minimal. Accelerating. And Bev will collect the quad. Putting himself up on towards 10 kills just behind Artist after a bit of eco-fragging.
Seven, 2. 3 rounds remaining in the half. Privateer do a picking up at least 2 of them. Looks like a bit of yard control is the name of the game here. Bev playing a dangerous game around the smoke outside. Spots Fraser, but it's mutual. Fraser swings back in. Clean kill. Extinct down in the depths of secret. Pop his head up. Free kill onto Dobbo. A good trade out of Arianto. Traded again by Artist. 3-on-3.
Overstaying is welcome with that first kill. Extinct didn't need to commit to that spray. It's fortunate that Artist is there to keep it equal. Giraffe on the secondary AWP hit. Early rotation down. Beats Fraser to it, and there's no trade. There's no teammate behind Fraser. Get revenge. The draft gets away scot-free. 30 seconds left. Privateer players eventually group. Just trying to find their way out of this mess. B site is risky. They know Giraffe is somewhere in the tunnels on the extremities. They shift their way up towards the vent, and they will find an empty A bomb site, but they won't have much time to secure themselves a post plant. And as the time ticks down, TLR can happily also shift their way towards the bomb sites. Big swing from Vacancy. Minimal. Looked like he may have been prepared, but anticipation wasn't there.
This is perfect as well. Just backs away. Allows his teammates to move in and support him. As Prime here in the hut, going to hear all these steps. He gets absolutely annihilated. A big double kill from Vacancy there.
Huge.
On the retake. That's 8 secured for TLR.
Massive discipline. Again, using that timing, identifies he's got an opportunity there in towards hut to try and isolate a duel, catch them off guard whilst one player is still planting. You know that the second player is going to be watching one of 3 angles towards main, heaven, and hut. Gets the drop on the one position that hut could be being watched from. And just immediately disengages. Knows that the next decision from the T's there is to try and hunt and isolate him. So he just sits back. Disengages. But this is looking quite dire for Privateer now. An 8-2 scoreline. They could get 2 more rounds, salvage this, make this a workable scoreline. 8-4 isn't out of the realms of possibility, but again, this is your map pick, the map which you chose to pick into TLR. A map which we already know is strong for TLR. Whether it's towards the top of their map pool nowadays or not. It's one that's in their DNA. A lot of early utility used by the CTs here on this round. Anticipating a faster round. Which this is a faster round for Privateer.
Works perfectly for Bev in the end. He spins back round and finds a double.
Wow.
The flashbang's there to support him. Extinct from up on top of the hut. Vacancy again. Consistently getting at least one on these A side hits. Fraser now finds himself alone in a 1 versus 3. Blink and you miss it. And he might just have to call this one a day and save it.
It's so outside, huh? It's so weird watching the speed and pace of a team like Privateer. TLR correctly identified, yeah, this is a faster round, but a faster round for Privateer is still slower than most people and most teams. You can tell they're not used to that acceleration. Getting caught off guard by a small timing play from Bev. Leaves it all on Fraser's shoulders. The IGL. With 20 seconds left, next to no HP. No bomb in his control. Found nothing. This is a save.
Yeah, just gone for the little... Gone for a little walk, you know. It's like, yeah, not having anything to do with this round. Can't save in T spawn. That's too obvious. Gonna have a little stroll. Straight round to CT spawn. TLR, of course, unmoving. 9 rounds on the CT side. So a 2 of Privateer. Definitely need this one. Ideally, a pistol as well as we swap over into the next. Let's see what they've got for us. Yard utility being thrown.
Again, it's weak utility for the T's. They can't afford to play such a slow game on this one. They'll run out of grenades for their final hit. See a second wave of smokes towards outside. But all 5 T's tucked in yard still haven't made their way in towards secret. Another HE to blow it open.
My goodness.
Jigs up now, surely. And that's Artist dropping the bomb. That needs to be recovered, but the smokes have faded. Bev is still even in a great position to spot the cross. They could go for another boost around this corner, but he's heard the steps, heard the jump. Deploys the flash, disengages, falls on towards the site. Extinct holds down the lurk. Privateer just being picked apart left, right, and centre.
And now this is a really sticky looking crossfire here as well. Bev in advanced position up close. Doesn't get Molotov'd out. Goes for the swing. Prime actually catches him here. And with Giraffe swinging in, not nearly as much damage as he'd be expecting. Vacancy gets his one. An Artist holds for the prime aggression with just 8 seconds left. Dobbo has to plant this bomb and they can just run him down here. No chance. 10-2 at the half. A dominating TLR CT side.
Privateer barely getting a look in. Only 2 rounds were they able to take over the line. We did see a couple other rounds where it seemed like it was getting close towards the start of that half. But with TLR closing out a couple clutches of their own, momentum all on their side. We head into the second pistol round. Got Dobbo, a little bit of utility. Prime, I believe that's Julie's. TLR, they're accelerating here and towards ramp. Molly on the vent, prevent that early rotation.
Prime being run down here as well. Opts to re-engage, and that is his downfall. 2 players drop now. Fraser scrambling to gain access to control. Opts to just hide on the other side of the double doors. Zarianto, the one to make the first bit of noise here. Clotheslines Vacancy. Disengages and allows Fraser to advance into control with 2 beautiful headshots. Artist and Extinct remain. Artist goes searching on the ramp, falls, leaving Extinct to try and clutch this one out. Can't connect a single bullet onto Arianto, who will give Privateer a pistol round that they desperately needed.
The initial approach for TLR worked perfectly, right? Drop that incendiary on the vent. Nobody can early rotate. Prime is isolated. He knows he's not got backup, so he can't delay. So he says, look, I'm going down either way here, so I'm going to try and take as many as possible. Doesn't get anything. TLR then have a 5 versus 4, but they stagnate on the site. They don't look to take an extremity. Even with the late rotation from Privateer, Privateer is still able to secure double control with Fraser and Arianto taking single control, meaning TLR had nowhere to go, unless they chose to fight one of them. Instead, they were stuck on the site and got pincered by just 2 players. TLR, though, going for a force buy despite not getting a bomb plant. It does mean it's only Tech 9s. Won't see the Galils or Mac 10s. Extinct, not a clean clear. There is a trade, but again, it's laboured. Rotations are in place.
Oh, and Bev's been caught. Artist. Good luck, buddy. Oh, okay, yep.
Uppercut,
flying up the ladder.
Straight to the chin of minimal. Artist got a hot hand. to say the least. Despite being on low HP, Private Tier
Surely
need to be
not.
careful. Oh, his hands may be hot, but his feet are cold. Oh, just dropping straight on towards the site without the HP to spare. But kudos to Privateer with a lovely anti-eco, just stacking that top site, forfeiting all the extremity control. Knowing that even if TLR take extremity control, they're not going to have much utility to secure the lower site. Or they just hit the top site, which is stacked. Not much you can do about it. Privateer, an opportunity here to tighten the gap. See if TLR's Deagles can have any more success than Privateer did have on their ecos.
Oh, these Deagle shots feel like just sailing past Dobbo's head.
Yeah.
Hair's width outside.
Every shot is a gamble.
Extincts look full, runs out outside. Oh, it's taking the bomb down. Giraffe finally with at least one kill on the board. Bev comes in with one as well. Now alone. 1v3, 50 HP, Desert Eagle. Minimal puts a stop to him. Privateer continue building the foundations of their comeback here. 5-10.
Yeah, the Deagles doing a good job of drawing out those fights, drawing out that time. The longer the round takes, the more opportunities they have to fire Deagle shots. Stark contrast to how TLR played their anti-ecos on the CT side, where they were just searching for the fights outside when they're given to them. Not allowing shoulder peeks, bursts, and pot shots. Straight up swinging. Minimal aggressive there. Just off vacancy. Two very early picks from Privateer, punishing a faster pace from TLR.
Oh, smokes fade. Thankfully, Artist isn't spotted.
There's already a player down here, though. Stobbo in towards single. He's not jump spotting. He's playing the shadow angle. Could play the glass break here. In fact, Giraffe is just going to be playing to cut down the rotations. Happy to make noise.
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Dobbo. Manages to stay alive, though. There's going to be a constant threat for TLR on this B site. Bomb allowed to be planted. Privateer going to opt to use their numbers advantage here on this retake. Instead, Giraffe on a lurk play. Going to try and make his way down the vent. Minimal.
Oh, wow.
Did he see it?
He did, yeah.
Might not matter as Bev going nuclear on the ramp with a big double kill. Minimal with the backstab onto Giraffe. So it's all in Bev's hands here. Nade goes through. Dobbo deep into the site, tapping the bomb constantly. Bev takes him down and just bides his time. Minimal has none of it left and is forced to escape. Beautiful 3K for Bev. He will go down with the bomb.
Huge impact there from Bev. Working with Artist on that lower site, securing it. Utility thrown, rotation blocked by Giraffe. And the presence of mind to identify that the tunnels are compromised, right? They know that there's a potential for a fast rotation behind them on Secret. There's a potential that they go straight through Giraffe's molly, and they also know Dobbo's already down and towards a single door, so they just plant for ramp and double and decide to take ramp. Catch Privateer off guard. A big 1 versus 2 clutch from Bev. It's such an awkward spot as well to fight from ramp because of the lip from the mini ramp. Makes it hard to see that lower sight, but he catches the perfect angle. Just deny the defuse. Last Resort get their first T round on the board. Yet they're still only a couple rounds away from securing their opponent's map pick.
Default spread for TLR here. Outside smokes deployed.
Anti-aggression hold, and this is an interesting boost. All the way at the back. Is that over the... That's not over credit, is it? Looked like it was
Seems
over
like
the
it,
rung.
I guess, using the...
I think it was over the metal roller that Fraser's
extra
sightline
cover.
was. Yeah. Very unorthodox angle. There's no way that a player on top of Silo would expect that.
TLR playing a much slower game means that Privateer actually give up on that boost. And now fresh smokes to allow safe passage down into Secret, where Dobbo is nearby in the vent, and Privateer, yeah, have an idea this is where the target is.
This is heavy. Dobbo in the vent, Prime down on towards the site, and then Fraser just a moment away. That molly will flush Dobbo out, but he's successful in getting the first kill. Looking for a little bit more. The Mac 10 will finish him off. Fraser is able to activate. It's a heavy, heavy rotation down towards this lower site, but TLR have actually got the man advantage. 3 versus 2, and Giraffe is still an X factor here. A possible flank to secure this round. Extinct just needs to get to safety.
Yeah, they've got to stay alive and buy time for Giraffe to activate here. He's paranoid of a flank, taking his time as he makes his way in through the ramp. His teammate's still alive for now. First kill secured, and Extinct comes in with the second. And TLR do clean out. Get themselves on map point.
That rotation was so unbelievably quick from Privateer. You can see Giraffe didn't even believe it. Still thinking that we one more person coming in late, not realizing that the last rotation was already on ramp. Yeah, it's an awkward hold, I can't lie, for Privateer. Yes, you've got the numbers down there, but they're in no way connected. Dobbo's in the vent on his own. Prime doesn't really have much support on the site. Obviously, when contact is made, Fraser can come in and then maybe you could organize a bait and switch, but it's going to be heavily improvised. It's not going to be preordained. So being able to deny just blanket trades from the T's is would have been difficult.
And look what they've got to work with here in the last round. 2 MP9s, 2 5.7s, and a Desert Eagle on Fraser. Privateer on the ropes, at least as far as Nuke's concerned.
Five, 7 rings out. See, that's the alarm bell for TLR to identify. Okay, there's upgraded pistols here. This is a scrappy force by expect aggression. Be aware in these close quarters angles. The thing is, this is Privateer. We're talking about aggression. Isn't in their nature. A game plan here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's to sit back and wait and hope that TLR burn the clock all the way down and run out of time hitting one of these sites and end up choosing a site that gets gambled. Fraser, big kill. Big opening kill. Applies a bit more pressure to TLR. Now if they go into a stacked site, chances of them being outnumbered are even greater. There's also fewer Ts to trade.
A lot of weight's going to be put on this heaven hit here. As Bev moves in, lobby crunch from behind is going to be problematic, and all of a sudden TLR starting to fall apart. 2v5 required as the bomb will go down, but Fraser's picked up an AWP, leaves it on vacancy. A 1 versus 5, and yeah, that's far too much to ask. So Privateer will stay alive here, not losing a single player.
Yeah, it's such a well-orchestrated eco round. I say eco, forced by working with the 5.7s and MP9s, not giving the fight to the AKs the superior weapons, with the exception of Fraser searching with a Deagle towards Secret, in a position where the Deagle can flex its ranged muscles. And then reactively aggressing in towards the lobby, taking Hut, anticipating that wrap round CT from TLR. Simply weren't ready for that many CTs, sorry, to be coming in behind Giraffe. Now the shoes on the other foot. TLR are the ones scrappy by. They're the ones on Tech 9s. AK.
Nades have stopped them at the door as well. They were going for a bit of a top site pop. Onslaught, HEs and incendiaries have completely stopped them in their tracks and burnt out all that utility that they had with them.
No grenades to work with now. They can't be playing on map control, on vision, on applied pressure. Instead, it has to be the picks. It has to be the gunfights. They do have that AK on vacancy. So if they want to use that as a lever, which looked like the intention with him taking a fight there towards Hut, but there's no contingency. There's nobody with a trade. There's no setup to try and enable it. It's just vacancy. See what you can find. Anything he finds is death.
Nice clean hold from Privateer. Pushes the needle ever so slightly back in their direction. Rebuy from TLR. Limited util though. And to compensate, they've got 3 players dropping down onto Galil's. Never mind, that's 2. Giraffe's just sold in favor of his AK.
He's searching for a pick here with this AWP. A dangerous angle. Dangerous for the T's, that is. Giraffe playing passive. This is very aggressive. Spots the shoulder of Dobbo, but on re-swing, it's Dobbo has the advantage. That's lobby immediately lost. 1 minute 20 on the clock in CLR. They've not even managed to take outside yet. They're left with 0 map control. Just Bev in towards Africa, pushed up. The other 3 players look to try and retake lobby, but there's a stack in play. Actually, they've disengaged. The X-ray fools me. So they're reboosting back in towards the rafters. But by disengaging, TLR are wasting so much time clearing every nook and cranny inside lobby. It was 1 minute 20 when lobby was taken. It's now 40 seconds on the clock. And they're back to square one. Bev punishes some aggression. That's a big kill on a big overstep from Dobbo.
Could be the route back into it here. Minimal. It's going to be the next challenge for them. And all with nades in their hand, they stagger their push out onto the site. Vacancy will finally trade after allowing Minimal to get a double. TLR find themselves in a man disadvantage. Bev recovers it. Big pick onto Arianto. Clears the path down onto the B bomb site. And the reaction is immediate. Digits punched with seconds to spare. Prime in a good position. Accelerating down, though, ahead of where Vacancy expect. Flashbang comes through, blinds him up, swings through, and Prime doubles up. So Privateer stay alive. It was a valiant attempt to bring that one back into contention from TLR.
Yeah, it does get sketchy. exactly just how dangerous TLR can be in those mid to late rounds on the T side. They're experts at going for those last-minute vent dives with 10 seconds left in the X on X scenarios. Money broken again. TLR pistols once more. Deterred to go for an early A site rush. Last time they tried it, they got stopped at the door. Instead, it looks to be a ramp hit, but there's a two-man hold here. Prime activates from behind the box. Buys so much time, and Fraser's still a threat here. They still just can't clear him out. All 5 players fall. They didn't get a single frag on towards ramp. We start to see now why Privateer were confident enough to pick this into TLR. Very strong CT side. Problem is their T side paled in comparison.
Yeah, I think maybe if they'd, been able to get off to a CT start, maybe they could use some of that momentum. But you can say the same about TLR. They went into this half with a 10-2. Find ourselves at 12-9 here, and Privateer starting to power up.
Fraser in front of the Molly. Bev doesn't expect it. Another early pick from this CT AWP. Another man disadvantage that TLR are going to have to worm their way out of. Incendiary deep here on towards ramp. Prime just about escapes, drops down. HG to try and chunk down any pursuers. Oh, and Extinct as he turns his barrels exposed. He's finished off. TLR, a minute on the clock. Start to fluster. They accelerating towards this top site. But Privateer one step ahead every moment. Fluff shot from Artist. Any curtains on this round. Fraser with the wall bang shot. Keep Privateer trucking on.
Just 2 rounds required. Take us to overtime. And all of a sudden, pressure's off. It's been 5 map points in a row for TLR. And unless they can pull off a bit of a Tech 9 masterclass, looks like it'll be 6. With the buy going into this one, half investment. Fraser now in secret. He has just been everywhere with this orb. Collateral onto Artist with extra damage here, and even Extinct falling to the Tech 9. Fraser swinging out of the gates in secret. Vacancy 1v4. Would be a 1v5 if he can pick it up, which he cannot. Minimal swings in. And this suddenly, from 10-2, becomes a 1-round game.
After that multi-kill, Fraser is sitting 22 and 12. The first half, on the other hand, was absolutely dominated by Artist, who was, what, 12 and 1 at one point? Currently only 19 and 12. He's definitely cooled off. Perhaps after he cratered on that top site. Not to,
It's a lot of rehab to fix a broken leg or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say not to pinpoint a certain moment. But yeah, his absence compared to the first half is noticeable. And the inverse for Fraser. TLR. One final round to try and take this in regulation. Helps Privateer make comeback into overtime.
Flashes into Garage. Extinct. cut down by Fraser. Bit of a misdirection play outside. Try and allow him that access.
Oh.
Beautiful shot from Prime. Bev only manages one. It's fallen apart for TLR. Artist and Vacancy. 2v4. And Artist taking so much damage. Walking their way down the ramp. They have free access to the B-bomb site. They can get a plant. Little do they know it. Still got to spend some time clearing out all these angles. Steps made. Utility deployed. That'll be the signal for Privateer to accelerate down towards this B-bomb site. Vacancy needs to hold on to the single door here. First kill found, but second too much to ask. Leaving it on the IGL. Artist to try and recover. Good for one. We are going to overtime here as Privateer complete the comeback. Send us into OT.
Massive kudos for Privateer. Despite being 10-2 down, to stay so composed, so calculated, without sort of regressing and being timid. You often find teams in those sorts of scenarios, they shut down, they shrink. Scared of making mistakes, especially when your playstyle is already a slow one to begin with. Instead, they stayed level-headed, continued with their game plan, and look where it's got them. Equalised the scoreline. Back, neck and neck. Trash. And this Lurk has struggled somewhat, only 9 and 16 after a full regulation game. And Dobbo, this early rotation, it was spotted out by Giraffe. They identified that he'd gotten down, but he's still able to get one. Fortunately for TLR, there's still a trade, so it's not the end of the world.
Now Vacancy picking up the kill onto Arianto. All of a sudden, got a man advantage. Immediately given away. And Giraffe finally going to give that man advantage back. Fraser brings into 1v1 as Artist plants on the B site.
This is brave from Artist. I don't hate it. Fraser's going to be expecting a more traditional post-plant position. I won't expect Artist to just be tucked in an exposed one and done. So finally, TLR are able to get that round on the board. It's a combination of not losing the opening pick without a trade. They're able to get it into a 4 versus 4, and then they're actually able to punish the aggression. And even though they did let it slip, it went back into a 2-on-2. They were able to stay vigilant. That's kind of what we need to see. It is a little bit more composure from TLR, being able to trade these opening picks, not go down a man so early without answering back, but also have a little bit more composure, team play in the mid rounds. But it's another round with an opening pick going Privateer's way. Another round, TLR have to work from the back foot, and then some. Arianto creeps through the edge of the smoke, gets a flank. 2 players fall immediately, and that's the bomb dropped. Vacancy and Giraffe. Difficult mission here to recover the explosive.
Yeah, that's a real kill shot from Arianto there. Fraser in a good position to cut off this rotate down. One smoke is not going to be enough. They're going to have to take a fight at some point. Flashbang, ineffective, but it does at least get Fraser off the angle in time as Giraffe flies into secret. Taking down Dobbo, minimal. The next line of defense falls back into single door shadow ang. Prime Lurking in dark here. Options available. 30 seconds on the clock. Flashbang in, minimal. Dodges it perfectly, leaving vacancy. He'll fall to the same fate. We have got a tactical timeout. I think first one we've seen all game.
No, we've seen a couple. See remaining. I mean, to be fair, it said remaining out one, but we have seen a couple already. But I don't think we saw any in the second half. We saw Privateer take a couple in the first.
Oh, that was ages ago. Don't remember that.
A long, long time ago. But it is kind of a... I don't want to say a hallmark or a habit of TLR, but
they don't take them.
They don't take timeouts. They don't. Even when they've had a coach, even when for the longest time when Biscuit was with this lineup, they just didn't take timeouts. A resource there to use, so might as well, otherwise they're wasted.
Much slower here in the last round of the first half of this OT. Smokes outside. Bev playing up close to them. It looks like they might try a wrap around into main here. Flash comes through. Corners cleared. They get access. Dobbo deep in lobby. A minimal up on the rafters. Both fall. Only getting one kill between them.
Fraser's back up the vent here. Working his way in towards Squeaky.
Oh!
Beautiful shot towards vacancy. The Deagle now whipped out. Just when TLR looked like they might have figured out how to approach this T side. 23 seconds left and Extinct in a 1 versus 2. Like spotted. I was going to praise there. I say praise, but identify TLR playing so passive at the early rounds, just fearful of losing an opening pick, trying to go for, tell you what, let's just keep it a 5 versus 5 when we hit one of these bomb sites in the mid-round. And it looked like it was working. They had the site, they got the trades, they got the opening pick, man advantage, and then suddenly Fraser comes out of nowhere and flips the round on his head. With some beautiful shooting. Swap sides. Privateer, after the first half of overtime, have come out with a lead. It was the first lead they've had this entire map. However, they've got to close it out on a side which looked very weak. That being said, we've certainly cooled the jets of TLR. Who won't have the same level of momentum and energy that they had in the first half. Execution on towards ramp. Good utility. Nobody's there. Fall victim to it, though. TLR give it up. What's their rotation plan? Going down towards this lower side. Extinct. Tucks in towards Toxic. Activates. Good for one, but there's no trade. Tried to buy time for his teammates, but nothing comes of it. And a flurry of frags come through for Privateer. Now in a 3 versus 2. 19 seconds. They've still got to get this bomb down somehow. Jaff doesn't want to let it go down. Oh, big kill. Closes the door behind him, but it's a HE, a team kill coming in from Artist. A missed AWP shot. 6 seconds left. Is there enough time to plant this bomb? No, there's not. They're not planting. Artist just has to live. Artist with, I mean, you could argue it was a 1 versus 3 clutch after taking down Giraffe. TLR by the skin of their teeth close out that round and bring us neck and neck again.
I can't believe. Oh, he never fails to bring the content, does he, our Artist?
No. I mean, it was a 4 versus 2. It's the time and the spacing catches Privateer off as they don't manage to get the bomb planted. I love that from Bev, dropping the HE up on towards the AC unit. Opportunity for Artist to open some smokes. 14-14. Again, it's a slow start for Privateer. Fraser with the AWP. He'll be searching for another opening pick. And such a key piece for this Privateer side with this sniper. One which TLR have failed to deal with more often than not. Here come the smoke towards outside, and that's a deep second smoke. Bev's going to get curious behind it, searching, seeing what he can find, and he's successful in not 1 but 2 instances.
He wants a bit more. Swings in. Does a lot of damage to Prime. Can't quite secure the kill. He's getting very eager now for TLR. Bev with another. Minimal makes his way out the door. With Fraser's help, secures A site control. The issue is the bomb stuck out in the open. Bev continues playing with fire outside. Minimal 1v3 required. Bomb in no man's land. Is he going to try and unpick this one, especially with Artist's AWP on overview? Bev gets his 4th. Beautiful work from him outside, shutting Privateer down almost single-handedly.
Again, even with that, it did get sketchy. You can see TLR were just hungry to try and fight with Bev, to try and give him some support as Bev was low. Could have been that or a combination of low HP player towards the top of hut, and they were all hungry for the frags, but did almost step away. But yeah, massive round from Bev. Put them up onto map point once more. Their second attempt at closing this out. They struggled for ages to close out regulation. From what was at least a 12-7 scoreline. Artist, there we go, an opening pick, man advantage. Arianto drops. Quick read as well.
Beautiful spray down from Giraffe, fully blinded up, just holds mouse 1. Cuts Privateer down at the entrance. Bev eliminating Prime, leaving Fraser 1v5. All that effort, all that sweat put into this comeback from 10-2 down. Privateer bring us to an overtime. 2 rounds away. They will stay as TLR secure it 16-14.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant game. 2 coming up next. And yeah, that's going to be an exciting one, Harry.
It is, yeah, Dust 2. Hopefully we'll go from some of the more structured play to hopefully a little bit more flashy stuff, which, I mean, we had no shortage of in that game as well. Some monumental kills from Fraser, from Artist, for example, the 2 in-game leaders really leading from the front. So we will see you after a short break. Hello and welcome back. We are one map into this upper bracket final here, and it was a close one. Despite how it started, TLR went up 10-2 on their CT side. Privateer brought it all the way back to overtime, and then finally TLR took it 16-14. That was just map 1.
Yeah, it was quite a weird one to watch, right? After 10-2, it looked so dominant for TLR. Privateer Gaming couldn't really find a way in. They were playing the stereotypical slow Counter-Strike that we see from this lineup. They weren't finding the openings that they kind of needed. And then suddenly in the second half, TLR just weren't getting anything done. They were constantly getting losing the opening picks, constantly in man disadvantages, and couldn't get any of the rounds on the D side over the line. But moving on to Dust 2 now, which, well, obviously it's TLR's map pick. You'd think they'd be comfortable on it. It's a map which historically Privateer have previously lent on. At least the core have done so before. So I think this map's going to be just as even as Nuke, or at least certainly has the potential for it.
Prime is searching hard here through middle, all the way in suicide already. Artist is lurking about as they go for this push onto the B site, where Arianto and Dobbo combine here to cut down a couple on the way in. Trades are good. Bev and Extinct both with a kill apiece. Artist activates his lurk in middle. The issue is Privateer now bypass, so a 2-on-2 on the site. Bev cutting them down as they try and make their way in through the hole. Artist looking to try and secure the deal at the end of the round. Can't quite do it at minimal.
Oh.
He's dropped his gun, searching for another. That's a freebie for Bev, who cleans house with 4 kills.
Another big multi-kill from Bev. Found a fair few of those on Nuke. Made the real difference for TLR. But a really strange pistol round already coming out from them on Dust 2. With a few players just pouncing out on towards B. Somehow securing 3 versus 5. It's going to be another pounce over towards the B-bomb site. Minimal tries to spam through the door as the smoke blooms with a MAC-10. Just cuts him down. Bomb site in their control. They'll get this bomb planted. Artist playing the lurk. Look and see if he can catch a backstab or a hunt saving player. There's the hunt. Catches Arianto. That's an MP9. Which he can pick up if he so desires. In fact, Extinct exchanges it. TLR starting to hunt. They know now with that MP9 purchase that Privateer went for a force bite. Could choose to try and remove as many of these weapons as possible, or alternatively, allow them to keep 3, which might bait Privateer into a force buy here. You can see Fraser didn't buy Kevlar. He could go for an M4. But I think they'll play it disciplined. They'll full eco. Fraser wants that AWP up as soon as possible. He knows how much of a difference maker he was with the sniper on Nuke. So the sooner he can get that up on the CT side of Dust 2, the better.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main factors that led to their comeback was some of the impact that Fraser was having. So if he can bring that up again. Hopefully start to get rounds on the board a lot sooner than last. Bit of a slower round out of TLR here. Not wanting to over-egg things. Potentially run into a stack. They're taking their time.
Yeah, they've got to figure it out. They know the Privateer are going to be playing slow pistol rounds or slow force buys. With a mid-round spice of aggression, you can see it comes through. It's a 1-for-1 trade. But that's enough information for TLR now to work off. They know that at least 3 players were spotted up on towards short. Start accelerating over towards B. Flank from Dobbo. Sets up Prime. Will catch 2 players. Back turned into a 2 versus 2. Also an AK now in the hands of Dobbo. Set themselves up for this trade. Artist delaying that smoke to make it last as long as possible. All the timing. Artist getting curious here. Oh, what a flashbang.
Beautiful flash. Takes down a completely blinded Dobbo. And Giraffe will get the second onto Prime as well. Low HP player trying to create some space for his teammate. End up taking the duels in reverse. It's a great flash. I love that.
I'm in awe of that flash. I've never seen anything like it. Bouncing it off the car. Sort of rounded surface. Provides an unexpected trajectory. Clearly one that's reproducible enough. Big pick. There we go. Fraser with the AWP. The first gun round puts that sniper to work. Over in middle. Another man disadvantage for TLR. They struggled so much with their 4v5s on Nuke. And also on the flip side, Privateer, they're at home when they have the advantage. Just sit back and wait and punish mistakes exactly like that. Nobody moving on the CT side. Just holding their passive angles. Playing reactionary with the exception of that AWP posted slightly deeper as they find their second frag of the round. Might be a safe for TLR, you know.
Yeah, I think it might be. 30 seconds left and nobody's moving. Bevs fell back to a bit more of a defensible position.
This is the difficult thing for TLR, right? Is that you know Privateer's game plan is to just not give you anything. They will just play passive on that CT side, especially when they've got a man advantage. But the thing is, you can't it's difficult to abuse because you can't just pick up the pace. You've got to try and creep your way into map control, but you can't creep your way into map control when Fraser's got an AWP in his hands because he could be anywhere. Be holding any angle. He doesn't often miss easy shots.
Gun round here. Full buys for both teams. We got the guns, got the utility. It looks like it's going to be a straight up long hit here. Extinct falls early. Fraser takes him down.
Another opening pick, and it's Extinct falling again. Sitting in spectate for 2 rounds in a row now.
And with that, TLR have slowed it right down. Bit of utility in middle here. Not going to deter Prime at all. Privateer sticking with their setup. TLR now going to commit to this long play. Dolbo closest to the front lines here. Going to be playing behind the smoke for concealment. Vacancy rips his head clean off. He even finds a second onto Prime. A missed shot. Vacancy's going nuclear on the bomb site. Single-handedly flip this from a 5v4 to a 4v2. And with that, Privateer might look to save.
Quadruples his kills in one single round. Yeah, Privateer a little bit complacent with that heavy man advantage. 5 versus 4, not willing to search out tunnels or middle or short or get really much information at all. And so they just fall victim to a full-on execution on towards the site, and they weren't set up for the trades. Yeah, you had the counter utility. Yes, you had the players in position. You had Dobbo on site. You had 2 players up on towards the catwalk. But it means nothing if you can't play off one another. You're not actually utilizing that advantage. Instead, you're just offering up opportunity, not just for trades from the Ts, but also to win the initial fight. Every solo one-on-one engagement is essentially a coin flip, there or thereabouts. Save for Privateer. Fraser can still have this sniper. TLR therefore have to still be careful. They are spread out quite a bit. 115 and they're taking map control. You got 1 player at the top of mid, 1 at the bottom, 1 on short, 1 in tunnels, and 1 just outside long. There's no coordination there from TLR. It's a solo fight from Extinct. At the very least, they've got the knowledge that Fraser is over towards A. But an easy rotation, boost up over the smoke, means that the CTs aren't completely caught off or cut off from this B-bomb site, as TLR would hope.
Miss Molotov's going to cause a problem for Artis trying to recover this bomb as well. And a missed shot will spell his downfall as Privateer do pick up the round. 3 players surviving.
Don't like what I'm seeing from TLR.
Looked very spaced out.
This is Dust 2 where the default is cookie cutter. The default is pretty much a solved game. There's not really many ways you can mess up the default on this map. Just work 3 players towards tunnels, 2 towards the top and mid, take tunnels control, split middle. Once you get towards Xbox, you can pressure either short or middle, or behind the mid doors. But they decide to do both at the same time, or still having someone at the top of mid, who I'm not sure what they were doing. There was just no team play, no trading, no coordination. And for a team of this caliber, that is very damning.
Early long, secured by Privateer. Lower tunnels control secured by Bev. So there's going to be a straight up bit of short control early on here.
Yeah, they're able to react a little bit faster, hearing all that util towards long, identifying, yep, it's a long take, it's a long setup for the CTs. First point of contention is this corner here, where a potential AWP could have been boosted up or rotated post-utility thrown. That's the point where Bev has to start using that util. And in fact, TLR will use all the ground they've taken to pounce. They'll accelerate 1 minute on the clock on towards this A site, but they're only doing it with 3 players. Mason Vacancy drops down. He's isolated. And these flashes from the CTs are just stopping TLR in their tracks, but eventually the rest of the players start to circle. The attention for Privateer is fully on this A bomb site that neglects the Giraffe lurk, but Prime still a threat. Dances and turns, a beautiful triple kill. TLR's attempt on that A bomb site was futile. It's decent damage, but it's still an AWP saved. It's still a round win for Privateer. We're now 1 away from tying this score up.
I was just about to start praising how good Giraffe's timings have been on these lurks. And I mean, it's still worthy of praise. It's unfortunate that his teammates just weren't able to hold on long enough on the bomb site for him to have the full effect. Extinct going for an opening, anticipating the drop. And Dobbo actually sticks around. Fraser's able to recover from his blindness in order to pick off 2. But the Deagles are doing work here. Both Giraffe and Bev coming in with some nasty headshots.
This is what I want to see from TLR. I want to see explosive, chaotic, scrappy Counter-Strike. You play a slow game, you're going to be playing into Privateer's hands. 3 versus 2. Now they have the advantage. Now, if they wanted to, they could play the percentages. They will all together fight on the same line.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, the fact Dobbo doesn't drop there is wild. The fact that, yeah, that Extinct just goes hunting.
It's the ghost of Dutchy. There he is.
He's with them in spirit.
Yeah, that's going to be a frustrating one to lose, though, if you are Privateer.
Yeah, definitely. But surely it should be the spark now for TLR. The bit of inspiration that they need to say, yeah, we need to sort of death ball. Turn up the pace, not necessarily just full-on rush places, but get a little bit more control. Again, Privateer, they love slow Counter-Strike, and TLR struggle with it. Artist?
Oh,
what?
Well.
The why? Okay, at least there's a trade. Gets a bit sketchy there. I mean, still is. Prime comes in with a third. So suddenly TLR on a back foot again, and now Fraser's... Oh, there we go. I'd say Fraser with an AWP, but Bev cuts him down. It's still traded. Giraffe now in a 1 versus 2. Does have the bomb on his back. Molotov to give him some cover. Will deny that short rotate and commits to a weirdly open plant. Fortunately for him, there's no kits and no smokes in play here. Alarm bell should be ringing his head towards long, but the double swing comes out. He finds nothing.
Traded forces back to back.
Yeah.
TLR get absolutely annihilated by one decent flash on short.
Another warp saved. Yeah, I'm not sure why Artist doesn't crouch there. That's all he had to do to stay alive. Perhaps the communication had broken down and the player on short didn't let him know he was blind.
Arianto taking some bold peeks in middle with this AK. Bev looks to try and hunt him down, but manages to escape. 3 players with their attention on middle now as Fraser turns his scope in that direction as well. Timing could be everything for Bev here. Round could live or die on this incoming engagement, and Dobbo's in the perfect position to get a double. He cuts down Vacancy through the smoke as well. Even reaggresses as Extinct tries to be sneaky around the smoke. Giraffe picks his timing well and gets his lurk. At least 1 kill on the B site. Missed shot from Artist yet again. Follow-up lands. Tag slows him down, so a lot of Molotov damage taken. 1v3. And Prime in a perfect position to cut him off here. Caught with a knife out. Privateer. Pick up another CT-sided round. Puts them up on 5, tying the scoreline.
I said I wanted to see TLR sow some more seeds of chaos, but the chaos there in middle was not under their control. It was kind of came back to bite them with those smokes. I had an opportunity to catch Privateer off guard, but Privateer had enough time to figure out exactly what was going on and insert themselves into the situation. All 5 players for TLR are now grouped up on towards this B bomb site. They've got an opportunity here to catch an isolated minimal. There we go. Trades 1 for 1. Arianto comes in. Big kills there from Vacancy. Puts it in a 3-on-3. Chunky HE. Util now needs to come to lock out these CTs. They've got the bomb site, but the bomb is not planted. And oh, hello, Bev.
Just a bit of a timing spam straight through the smoke. Prime returns the favor, though. Yeah. Giraffe will be able to get the bomb planted. 2v2 locked in on a clock. 40 seconds. Privateer start to deploy their retake utility. Another headshot comes out of Bev. Sets up Giraffe for the 1v1 with Dobbo. And Giraffe deciding the best form of defense is attack. But unfortunately, the lack of armor will punish him. And Dobbo does pick it up. Basically full eco. Monkeying into the B bomb site. Gives TLR so much runway.
Normally, those sorts of rounds, you come in with the silver lining of, you got it down to 1 versus 1. That's good economic damage, but that was the penultimate round of the half. Privateer had more than enough money for this round. The only compromise you'll see is Prime missing a couple pieces of grenades. 2 kits. That's it. They gained nothing really out of that previous round beyond the kill rewards for their own funds. Look at this aggression out of Privateer. Final round of the half, a big switch up. The TLR have been spending ages trying to figure out how to solve passive approach, and whoa, suddenly
there's one solution.
Yeah.
3 kills simultaneously. 2 in lower tunnels, 1 on long. Leaves Fraser and Dobbo left wondering where all their teammates have gone. Fraser going to attempt to deny this transition into the bomb site as Vacancy clears out all these angles. Shots exchanged apiece, leaving Fraser solo. And the triple peak ends up winning. So 6-6, dead even as we go into the second half.
Yeah, you could see the thought process behind switching things up for Privateer, trying to catch your opponent off guard, but there's a strong argument against it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They were doing so well just playing passive. You've got to bear in mind 3 out of TLR's 6 rounds came from winning the pistol and converting. Another one came from a chaotic pistol eco round, and another one came from a couple mistakes from Privateer, which Vacancy was able to punish. Outside of that, TLR were only actually able to win 1 round where Privateer were playing their own game, switch things up, and you're inviting an opportunity like that. TLR granted an equaliser when they needed it most here, and their T side looked very uninspired, I'd say. Considering this is their map pick, I would have believed you if you said it was the other way around, to be honest. Despite, again, TLR's weak T side on Nuke. Seems like their T sides in general right now, or at least today, are certainly not living up to the mark.
The firing squad approach in middle. It's just a B hit here, Extinct, to try and defend it. Solo with the Julies and Prime just barrels in, jumping into danger. Artist on the flank will equalize the numbers into a 3-on-3, but Minimal responds in kind with a double. Now going to attempt to plant the bomb as Artist sprints in. He thinks that it might have been a rotation to A, which it wasn't. And he gets his head blown smooth off.
He's just running knife out thinking it's A. Doesn't hear the bomb being planted. Scary scenes. Fully
Privateer going out long, and the mid walk being attempted by TLR. Not had much success so far. Artist in a good position to deliver at least one.
Oh, he's been hit. Not hurt though. He will be finished off. Vacancy trying to play the element of surprise, but with an unsilenced weapon, had to bide his time. Here come the guns for TLR. Most importantly, an AWP out for Artist again. Found a lot of impact with that on the CT side of Nuke. Can he do the same here on Dust 2? We didn't see many flashes of brilliance from him on the T side.
And there's another opener for Privateer. Artist very nearly takes his teammate down. Reflash comes in and attempt at a no-scope is unsuccessful. Thankfully, Extinct's there with a double. Cleans up, as does Giraffe, leaving Arianto.
I know he was last spotted toward long. He doesn't have the bomb
with this util. Gives TLR the chance to set up for this one. Extinct repositions with the AWP. Takes him down. TLR pick it up. Close the distance. Back down to 1. Recovering from the initial mutton deficit as well. We'll see another tactical timeout.
Fun's a little scrappy on both sides. We've got MP7 on Vacancy, Mac 10 on Dobbo, Minimal onto the Deagle. I'd see a bit of a cat fight In between these two teams, vacancy you can see very far forward. It's MP7 just locking out those A-long doors. Here, all the steps and all the utility being thrown outside along towards the top of mid. Pass that across to his teammate. It sets up Artist for the perfect timing. Go for the AWP peak and make it a second as well. 2-man advantage. Goes for the full rotation now. Trusts his teammates. Just going to hear them drop in towards middle. Good spray for one, but it's not quite clean enough for the second. Distinct attempts walking through that smoke, but thinks better of it. He doesn't need to risk that. If he fell, it would just leave Giraffe in a 1v2 over towards B. Which may still somewhat be the case. However, he doesn't have multiple angles to watch. It's just tunnels right now. Just needs to guarantee the one, which may be easy with Arianto on low health.
Yeah, there it is. Prime 1v3 now required. Jump across. AWP shot doesn't land. So has the option to plant the bomb. Instead opts to go for a fight. An Artist will pick up a kill easy as you like on the AWP. 8-8. Money in the bin for Privateer. So an opportunity for TLR to take the lead here.
Kind of confidence round that I think Artist needs to get his head in the game. Just the captain of this squad. Those two opening AWP picks previously. Privateer seems to be picking up the pace here in middle, but it invites Bev. So those lovely eco multi-kills. Fraser left in a 1 versus 4. Plenty of time on this clock to try and work. Bev's rifle out of reach. Tech 9 is not going to be the easiest weapon to work with on Dust 2 when you're on your own. When you're playing slower. Ideally, a Deagle would be preferable. Tech 9 still dangerous at range, just a little bit harder to work with. Especially with no Kevlar. Giraffe finishes him off. A great off angle, top of the window. So TLR able to build some bank with 4 players surviving. Interestingly, Privateer not going to be able to afford that sniper. I feel like that really was the crux, the weakness for TLR on Nuke. Albeit when TLR were on the T side, was Fraser on that AWP able to get those opening picks, but still having attempts
Great
on the
flash.
T side. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful work. Set up Extinct for the multi. It's Privateer picking up the pace.
Extinct going to get more aggressive though, and that's where Dobbo will punish. Playing around the edge is Vacancy, and it's some perfect shooting out of him as well. Another double kill on long. Minimal makes himself known over towards the B side of the map. 1v2, not beyond the realms of possibility here, but needs to recover the bomb, which is currently sat on long. And with those steps heard, smoke goes down to delay him further. Giraffe and Vacancy have more smokes to use once this one has faded as well. So Minimal's going to be waiting a long time if he's going to try and wait this one out. There's the second smoke. Cuts his time down to 25 seconds now if he wants to wait it out. Vacancy found another one on the floor. They've got smokes for days here on long. They can quite happily sit here re-smoke in this corner. There's another one.
And there's the save.
I think if Minimal used that time, he was sat behind the smoke to just go long. Go short, sorry.
I'm not sure it's the decision to go for a long rush there for Privateer was whether it was based off of spawn or whether it was based off Fraser not having an AWP, which I think are fair estimates. And hello, there's a sniper rifle from somewhere. But the thing is, the faster you play, the greater the chance of TLR winning the round. In this matchup between one of the scrappiest, fastest teams in the UK versus the slowest, most patient team in the UK. Fast is what TLR want.
Yeah, and I mean,
work.
It seemed like as well that just beyond the first couple of flashes, there weren't many additional flashes coming over to support them. Whereas you looked at the TLR side, there was just a stream of them right behind all the defenders as they were fighting.
If there were multiple, they might have been thrown too high on the, well, as a T on the right, left shoulder of the CTs to not have any effect. But yeah, Extinct was unfazed there. That's a really weird half investment here. Fraser as that AWP dropped over from minimal save. See if you can use it as a scalpel to surgically remove one of the TLR players from this round. That's what they're going to be searching for. The rest of the players hold the extremities whilst Dobbo provides Fraser with some support. Oops.
Artist wins it.
Yeah. Exchange blows. Oh, hello.
Yeah, nice response out of Arianto. Gets a little bit spicy here on the bomb site. Smoke dropped to allow Vacancy to cross in. As Prime goes for the swing over the barrels here. The flashbang's blinding everybody up, and that's a problem. Fighting his demons, Extinct spinning round. Bev running into the bomb site. It's a 1v1 with Arianto on the other side. Expecting a peek. Extinct just continues holding mouse 1, and Arianto will fall 11 for TLR, but by the skin of the teeth.
Yeah. The flashes coming in through that CT smoke really helped Privateer out. Really disrupted that spacing from TLR as they're all just hurtling up towards the ramp. Split Extinct off from his teammate. But just about stays calm with the clutch. 5 in a row now for TLR, looking to try and close this out. Looking so much stronger here on their CT side. Look at this aggressive play. Bev in towards the lower tunnels. HE chunks them down. Pre-chewing his food. There's the first and there's the second. Easy finish. Big double kill. Drops a smoke. It can fall out, but he doesn't have to. He can just sit there. Let the T's spam all their bullets through that smoke to try and deny his escape. But instead, he just holds on to tunnels, holds on to that map control. But Vacancy overeggs the pudding. Big overextension. Now there's a gap. Which Privateer take. They push their way in towards Long. An Artist out of position, caught transitioning, trying to get in towards Car. Misses the shot, has to fall back 3-on-3. Equal state of affairs. HE blows open the smoke, but that means that Fraser can now see them with the AWP and leaves it all on Bev on 11 points of health. Position known will be finished off. One small mistake from Vacancy is compounded, and Privateer are able to get one of their first T rounds in a while. There you go, a streak of 5 for TLR, finally broken. That's a 3 versus 5.
Yeah, such a gift given to Prime there on Long. That free kill onto Vacancy.
Yeah, an Artist just out in the open. See the thought process. If he does get to Car then the round could have been secure, regardless of a missed AWP shot or not. Instead, the missed AWP shot means his death. And now the bank is actually broken for TLR. We've got an eco with a hero AWP dropped over by Giraffe.
Privateer gathering in the tunnels. Bev with a beautiful headshot. Taking down Minimal early on and even doubles up onto Arianto. This is a problem there for Privateer because Bev is just ripping heads here on the B bomb site. Fraser wants to have a go. Bev's still alive. Molotov will flush him out and he still lands the shot. 4 kills for Bev on the Desert Eagle, single-handedly shutting down Privateer, going for the ace, and of course he gets it. Disgusting work in the back of the B bomb site, gives TLR map and series point.
What a huge round to give TLR a massive boost to try and close this one out. It's been such a strugglesome series for them. Even if they do close this out in 2 maps, having a 10-2 lead on Nuke and then it going to overtime and then struggling in the first half of their map pick as well, with a very weak-looking T side that looked much worse than the scoreline suggested at halftime. Privateer just sending themselves after that Deagle one after another, thinking they can get a trade. There was no double peak. There was one player felt and then another thought, oh, quick, let me get that trade, without trying to coordinate and say, look, let's just go for the double peak to guarantee the next trade.
Top of the scoreboard, 24 and 15.
It's the top over on Nuke as well.
Closest player is Dobbo on 17.
Wow. Admittedly, a fair few anti-eco multi-kills in there, 1 or 2, but that doesn't diminish the impact of some of the other multi-kills he still had, including that one.
Yeah, 7 kills clear. The next player. Up close here on the doors. Artist the one to find first blood, eliminating the rival sniper of Fraser. Arianto falling as well. Dobbo dead. And that leaves Minimal and Prime. Make it just Minimal. A 1 versus 5 required. And it's just not going to happen. TLR do take it 13-9, a 2-0 as they move forward into the finals.
Yeah, it's honestly a really weird game there. I mean, how do you sum that one up, right? You've got TLR. I despite winning 2-0, I was actually really disappointed in the showing from them. The incredibly poor T sides. They looked very uncoordinated, very uninspired. They didn't have many set pieces or aggressive plays or aggressive sort of set pieces, which is kind of what you need up against Privateer. The individuals were making plenty of mistakes, giving opportunities into that round. If it wasn't for Bev and the couple highlights from Artist, I think this would have been a completely different game. But that kind of game is the opportunity that Privateer need to be able to take TLR down. I think it speaks to how dominant they are, that if TLR are playing like that and Privateer still can't beat them, then what's it going to be like when TLR aren't playing this bad, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, still some incredible individual moments in there. But yeah, Privateer just continue to sort of not be able to get over this TLR hurdle, right? Yeah. Which, look, TLR obviously the top team in the UK at the moment, but it's got to be frustrating just butting your head up against this wall constantly and running into that. But that does mean that TLR move on forward to the grand finals, which of course will be in prac rooms in Sheffield, held on LAN. 1,700 quid prize for the first place winner, 800 quid for second place. And there's going to be a watch party, I've heard, at the LAN, Logitech G watch party. And there's going to be some whoever's invited guests will get to test some of the products and compete for the prizes, like the Super Strike, right? The MVP prize across the divisions here. So
I've heard TLR have got a couple of those.
They have got a couple of those, I believe. Yeah. So we're going to wrap things up here, but thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to follow all the UKIC socials, and we'll see you next time.